Tom Toles is the editorial cartoonist for the Washington Post. He is a man who needs no introduction, deserves none, and isn't going to get one. I didn't write that, he did. Okay, Tom Toles.
Well, see, now you've already given one away. Now this is... Matt asked me to talk, and I said, Matt, I don't have anything to say. And he said, well, I'd like you to say it anyway. And because it was Matt. That's the only reason I'm here. I love Matt. I really don't have a lot to say. He said, well, I need a title for your talk. I said, well, I don't have anything to say, so I don't actually have a title. He said, well, it doesn't matter. Just give me a title. And I thought, well, okay, what would be a good title? And so I thought the 5 secrets of editorial cartooning sounded like a great topic. And so I gave him that title. And then I had like a month to actually figure out what those might be. And I did. I wrote them down. I have them in here. You know, the envelope everybody has always wanted to see. But then I thought, no, that's not, I shouldn't have said that as a title. The better title would have been, because it's got an angle. I should have said, I'm going to talk about the 5 myths of editorial cartooning, because that's like this journalistic format now that, you have the myths and then you explain what the reality is. So I wrote the 5 myths of editorial cartooning, and I have those in this envelope. Now, you might, the clever ones in the crowd might have figured out it's the same envelope and it's the same 5 things. Okay, now, who can guess what number 1 is? You know, I'm really sick of hearing this, because this is what everybody is always telling me. I mean, everybody from the beginning has, you know, especially people that don't like my cartoons. They think, oh, well, you know, if I'll tell them that the cartoons suck, but on top of that, you can't even draw. They just, oh my God, I bet that wounds him. I bet that's going to make him feel bad about himself as a person. And sort of it does, but... Yeah, I know, I'm underprepared. No, I actually have this all figured out. Oh, my note, it says, on purpose. Yes, I draw that way on purpose. And I do. You know, I mean, I do. And it's, you know, sometimes I don't like to speak in front of groups. You can see why. I don't like to, you know, sometimes people say, well, we'd like to do an exhibit of your cartoons. I don't like to do that either, and here's why. I have a specific reason for that. I've done it. They frame them. They put them up in a museum. I go and look at them, and you know, what mostly I think is, Jesus, I should learn how to draw. But there's a reason that they don't look good in a museum, is because I don't draw them to be in a museum. I draw them to be in the newspaper. And I didn't bring any of them today, by the way. Sorry. If you want to read my cartoons, buy a fucking newspaper. And I used the F word, I didn't use the C word, buy 5 copies of the newspaper. All right, well, so it's true, you need to learn how to draw, but you need, what I'm trying to do when I draw is to communicate. That's what, it's not drawn to hang on a wall. I mean, some editorial cartoonists are just brilliant artists, beautiful things to look at, and that's great. I'm not one of those, but I draw the way I draw because I want what it looks like to work for what I'm trying to say. And I can't explain why the way I draw works for what I want it to say, but I look at it, I work at it, it's on purpose. There's probably a clicker here. All right, number 2. Secret number 2. Haha. Funny. Everybody likes cartoonists to be funny. And funny's good. I'm good with funny. Funny works. I mean, this whole debate is actually mostly over. It was like this raging thing when McNally came in, because he just was funny. And then, as Jack talked about, speaking of Jack, there's a legacy. Everything is changing in cartooning, but there's still a legacy. Jack put up a slide of what his hair looked like in 1973. Well, the legacy of that is I now have the hair that he wore in 1973. And I bring that up because I am actually not all that interested in what I have to say here. But I shouldn't have said it, because now, even the few things I have to say, you're not going to be listening to me anymore. You're going to be looking at my hair, and you're going to be thinking, yeah, he's right, that's really weird hair. What's with that hair? Why does he look like that? But that would be wrong for you to be doing that. That would be shallow and wrong. So don't do that. Funny. Okay. Well, there's 4 different kinds of funny. I think. I think I thought of them between when I got off the metro and here. And it doesn't matter. But everybody likes this. There's witty. There's witty people. There's witty writing. There's witty cards. Witty. I would define witty as humor without the laughing part. I mean, it's smart, it's clever, but it sort of tends to be riffy and fundamentally kind of empty. Not always, but often. So I don't like to. That's not my favorite kind. Then there's like regular humor, but that comes in 2 kinds. There's attack humor, which is mostly what political cartooning is about, and then there's reassurance humor, which fortunately you don't see too much of in editorial cartoons. The attack humor is actually trying to get you to laugh and think, but laugh. And reassurance humor is trying to get you to say, "Aw, well, that's good. We're all good," and it's amusing that we're all good. It's nice. It's reassuring. And then the 4th kind of humor is just bad humor. That's the humor that's supposed to be funny, but actually just is awful. All right. That's all I got to say. Oh, I guess I could say this. I mean, the McNally, that's right. Before I started talking about my hair, which you're not supposed to think about, and you're not even supposed to look at it, is that the big argument was, well, should a cartoon be funny or should it make a point? Well, obviously it should do both. And then you could say, well, what about a cartoon that doesn't make a point and it's funny? Is that a good thing? Well, it's not a great editorial cartoon. But on the other hand, there are editorial cartoons that don't make a point and aren't funny either. And that's worse. So funny we're gonna say with qualifications. That's a good thing. All right, number 3, what would that be? Be fair. What does that mean? But, it's like always people are saying, well, you're not being fair. You're not being fair you're only doing cartoons on one side. And, I don't know, this is something I think about. I guess that's what I'm here to say. I don't expect to like inform you. I mean, everything I do, this is the way I look at it. Everything I do is right there in the paper. That's, trying to explain what I'm doing is beside the point. It's like explaining a magic trick. Do you really want to know? Yeah, it's interesting, and then the trick isn't interesting anymore. But anyway, I'm going to try to tell you how I wrestle with this stuff, because I do. Being fair is one of them. To me, I do cartoon from what people would say, oh, he's on the left. But no, I'm exactly right here in the middle. The rest of you are arrayed around me. And that's really true. I don't like say, oh, well, here's the spectrum. Which unbalanced way do I want to go? No, I look at what's going on. I look what people are saying. I look what their arguments are, and I look at what their sense of what is justice, and I listen and look at all of that, and I say, okay, this is what I think. This is what I think are the better arguments. This is where my sense of justice is. I, like a 2-year-old, am the center of the universe. And, if there's only one person over here and everybody in the world is over, it doesn't matter. I'm still the center. And so what I do is I tell you what I think. And what I think is what I draw, and that's fair. It's not like even, but that's a different thing. That's all. All right, let's see. Oh, now, guilty. This is one that the daily editorial cartoon job is designed to create this hole into which I and almost every other cartoonist falls on a regular basis. Because the nature of the job is you're supposed to be drawing cartoons on stuff that's in the newspaper. Well, there's a lot of stuff in the newspaper. And to do a good cartoon, you have to understand the subject. Well, okay, how hard is it to understand a subject? Really hard. How hard is it to understand every subject in the paper? Harder. And then, you're supposed to know everything, and you're supposed to know everything about this particular thing, and then you have to see what just happened and put the context of wisdom of all time on that right then for tomorrow, but don't ever be wrong, ever. Well, guilty. But I do try. I will say this was smart. My first editor, who actually talked me into political cartooning, he said, it's not funny, but it's smart. He said that there's 2 levels of understanding a subject, only 2. He said there's understanding it and there's not understanding it. And if you don't really understand it, then you're guessing. And he said, and this is true, he said that if you read enough on something, eventually you can get to the point where it's like, I know this subject. And he said, once you've gotten to that point, it's like you've hit a vein of ore in a mine, and you can dig and dig and dig, and it's inexhaustible. You always know what you're talking about. Well, great, except how the hell do you do that? It's hard. It's like really hard. Once or twice, I felt like I've read enough about a subject that I genuinely got it. And he's right. You can mine that, and the rest of the time you're just like trying your best. And sometimes you're being stupid. All right, there's only one more. Yikes, I'm out of time. Can I have yes, I'm going to take it. You can, when they carry me away, then I'm done. This is pretty much the crux of it. I could have left all the other ones out. I mean, it's a little bit ironic now. I mean, tragically ironic in that